afternoon to you, and thank you so much for finding time to be with us today. The show is Africa Showdown. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and I trust that your Sunday is coming up well. As usual, it is a pleasure to have you on board, and on today's show we will continue with what we have been looking at from I think a couple of years ago. We know that President Uhuru Kenyatta is just counting days before he leaves office, and we've been just trying to keep track with his legacy. So today we shall continue to do that. We shall look at his legacy locally, nationally, and regionally, and also internationally, and see what mark will President Uhuru Kenyatta leave, and how shall he be remembered, not just at home, but also on the international arena. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and welcome aboard. And before I bring in my panelists this afternoon, and Dr. Matanga is joining us also from another location, let me first bring us up to date with the headlines this afternoon. The Sunday Standard, the main headline: Raila Ruto's grand battle for 5 million votes. With only 3 weeks to election day, and with President Kenyatta joining the fray, the fight for millions of votes in Mount Kenya and Rift Valley is promising to be a bruising one, with the battle between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio in the Rift narrowing to 7 battlegrounds with 2.8 million votes. That story is on page 6, 10, and 11 on the Sunday Standard. Dorcas, the wife of Gachagua, opens up. That is on an exclusive interview on the Standard as well on page 4 and 5. And Dash for Gold, Kenya begins hunt in Oregon. And the story is on page 42, 43, and 44. The Sunday Nation, the main headline: Raila's 1 million Kenya shillings a plate dinner. Deep-pocketed businessmen and politicians pay up to 10 million Kenya shillings per table to fundraise for Mr. Odinga's presidential bid at an invite-only event intended to oil the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition campaign 3 weeks to the August 9th general election. That story is on page 4. Sonko, I will take my fight to the East African Court of Justice. That is on the exclusive interview on the Sunday Nation on page 6. Build junior high schools for CBC, Magoha tells investors on page 10. And the main pictorial: Ruto's new flashy ride, a camping vehicle that is very unique there. And the story about that and the owner of that vehicle is on page 5. And of course, Obiri Chelimo push Kide to the wire, win Kenyans' first medals. That is on the back page. And bandits and bullets in Kenya's Valley of Death. That is also an exclusive story, special series on the Sunday Nation. And you'll find that on page 7 and 19. And of course, on both pages, we do have opinion pieces by different writers. So if you're interested, you could grab yourself a copy if you've not grabbed one yet, and get yourself up to date. And so we're joined by Dr. David Matanga.
Yes.
All right, Doc. Good afternoon. I see you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Miriam. Good afternoon, all of you on the platform. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are across the globe, across the continent of Africa. This is Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the political command center in Mombasa, the coastal city of the Republic of Kenya, on the Indian Ocean shores, where the rain is raining heavily. Because of our weather conditions, I'll show right across there. You can see the Indian Ocean. The tables cannot be seen from here, but it is raining heavily. Things have changed in these days. I don't know. I have never seen a day like this where the rain comes, you come to escape from the cold, Miriam, and you get another cold where you need a sweater in this city, Mombasa. You need a jacket, a cold. Your feet cannot be left without socks. Jesus Christ, Mombasa used not to be like this. But all the same, good afternoon, all of you. On the platform, I can see Cornelius Omuse from Bungoma and the legacy trend. My dear brother, tomorrow we are with you the whole day, Kitale. Eldoret, Bungoma, Busia, Kakamega. Next week you'll be the last do or die in Lodwar and the other parts, Samburu, Masabit. You will go there. Good afternoon, Omuse. Just one word, test the microphone, whether it is all right.
Thank you so much, Daktari, at Punchline TV headquarters in Mombasa. Nice to see you. Nice to see Miriam. I'm at the western part of Kenya. This is Bungoma town. Just next to me here is the airstrip that President Uhuru Kenyatta has earmarked for construction. And even after interviewing the citizens here, they are talking of hopes or expectations that once Raila Odinga takes over, they believe that this airstrip will be completed. I've passed through where the interpass and the interchange going up to Malaba, the infrastructure and the roads that are being used by the huge trucks going to Kampala up to DRC are really doing well. That is the brief which we are going to delve deeper as the conversation continues. Thank you, Daktari.
You can come and see.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and we're also joined by Gladwell Kiragu from Kiambu County. Gladwell, a very good afternoon to you.
A very good afternoon to you, Miriam. A very good afternoon to Dr. David Matsanga. Good afternoon to my fellow panelists. Good afternoon to our viewers coming live from Kiambu, whereby it's very cold and very chilly.
All right, and we're also joined by Kiptanu Sevania, all the way from Nakuru. Kiptanu, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Miriam. Good afternoon, Daktari.
Are you in Nakuru or where are you today?
Almost to Nakuru. I'm coming actually from Londiani. I was there in the morning. It was so chilly.
Okay.
You are coming all the way from Londiani near Njoro.
Londiani, from Londiani near Njoro.
Moro on Njoro.
Londiani,
that was the epic center of violence in 2008. Is that so?
Very true. That is why I came here today, because yes. on 22nd we'll be having actually a peace walk.
Yeah, thank you very much, viewers. Sorry about that, Miriam. I got distracted across the CBD of Nairobi. Our man, Colombo, the real Colombo. You know, even if it is Sunday, it is Colombo. The guy is well dressed as Colombo. Good afternoon, Colombo.
Yes, very good afternoon to you, Dr. Matsanga David. Good afternoon to my fellow panelists, brothers and sisters, and our viewers here in Nairobi, Kenya, East Africa, and the rest of the globe. It is indeed my pleasure to be on the conversation this particular afternoon for the Sunday, for the Africa Showdown show on Punchline Africa TV. Thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga.
Thank you very much. Javani Karanja from Nanyuke. Good afternoon. Javani Karanja. Good afternoon in Nanyuke.
Good afternoon, Dr. David Matsanga, fellow panelists, and Miriam in our headquarters. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you very much. Test us the weather of Nanyuki. How is Nanyuki?
Nanyuki today is a bit sunny. We are not complaining of the cold, and we are still following the political happenings of the country, and we are still selling the Azimio candidature.
Yesterday, I saw you doing what we call the legacy mop-up in Kirinyaga. How is it in Kirinyaga?
In Kirinyaga, everything is well. I went around the entire county of Kirinyaga County with my friend Samuel, and it was a good feeling to see that people from the home of Mother Karua are really in Azimio coalition. And I can tell you, Daktari, that if there is an area where Azimio will get good number of votes in Mount Kenya region is in Kirinyaga County. The reception was good, and we hope for the best from the county.
I have seen the colors changing, people repainting their buildings into Azimio building. What is the miracle?
Yeah, the miracle is courtesy of the change and the wave of change that has engulfed the entire Mount Kenya region. And I can tell you more will change their offices. More.
Okay, we seem to have had a problem with Karanja. Back to you. Good afternoon, Miriam, in Nairobi, Kenya.
Good afternoon to you, Doc.
Take it away.
All right, so I already went through the headlines this afternoon. Perhaps we just pick on a few stories before we get into our main topic of the day, and that is looking at President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy nationally, regionally, as well as internationally. So perhaps we start with the story that has maybe got a lot of Kenyans talking, and that is the decision of former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko, who was impeached, to take his case to the East African Court of Justice. So former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko has said his bid to be on the ballot for the Mombasa gubernatorial race is not yet over, even after the Supreme Court dealt him a huge blow in his attempt to overturn his 2022 impeachment, as Mr. Sonko was declaring that he will continue with the fight to be on the ballot. Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Chairperson Chebukati, while in Epanga in Luanda, Vihiga County, said the commission will make a decision on Tuesday whether the former Nairobi governor's name will be on the ballot paper. And the former Nairobi governor was earlier in the week cleared to contest in the August 9th general election before the Supreme Court on Friday upheld his impeachment of December 2020. And now he says he will take his case to the East African Court of Justice. And so perhaps the question that most Kenyans now maybe wants to know, why is it too hard for Mike Sonko to give up? It is within his right to pursue the legal avenue that are available for him. But at what point does someone count their losses and say enough is enough?
First of all, Miriam, it is never enough, and it is not yet. It is never over until it is over. The law is very clear. The constitution is very clear. As long as there is an appeal anywhere under the law of East African Community, the African Courts of Justice and Human Rights, he will pursue. And the courts in Arusha have powers to say the decision that was made can be rectified and give their opinion. Therefore, Miriam, it is true that there is something that should have been done that could have helped the scenario of Sonko. I am in the coastal city of Mombasa, and I want to speak frankly. At the moment, I have listened to the opinions, and I'm telling His Excellency the President, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, that some of the things that the opinion that I've gathered, which I will make public tomorrow, is not rosy, because there is a cross section. The Sonko factor on the coast might actually disorganize our vote. I'm telling you frankly, I don't want to hide, because I am not going to tell a lie in order to earn a living. I don't earn a living by telling lies like a Ruto. My frankness has helped me to be like this, and God has saved me. So I will tell the truth. Miriam, the vote here is getting murky. It's getting murky. And these are the reports I've got. These are genuine reports. That's why I came down here to tell the truth. If Raila Odinga is not listening, I am telling you. Also, we have a stake in Azimio. It's not only Raila Odinga. We also have a stake. Some of us who are friends of Uhuru Kenyatta, we need a stake. And that stake must be well guarded. We are not going to have these double standards that are coming up, causing a lot of chaos here. I've listened to something here which is not very good, and I will make my report very known to through the proper channels.
And Doc,
Miriam,
allow me, Doc, to interrupt your thoughts. There's something that you brought up there that perhaps I would wish for you to shed some light for our viewers and even for our panelists this afternoon, since you're there in Mombasa. You've said the Sonko factor would disrupt the votes in Mombasa particularly. Would it disrupt if he is on the ballot or if he's not?
Medium, the Sonko factor will distract the factor that most of the people that I interviewed, most of the people have gone around to gather information and have sent people across to get me information. We have not slept for a few days here. Since I arrived here on Friday, we have not slept. We have done our best to make sure that we gather this information. People are saying if Sonko is not on the ballot, then they will not vote.
So they want
somewhere
him.
They might affect the vote of Raila Amolo Odinga. Yes.
So they
yes,
want to
and then the truth be told. There's something wrong. And the problem that here, me as Paul, a Gentile, I feel so hard. When you tell people the truth, they turn on you. That's the truth which is here. So, there you are.
But the court ruled, Doc, so what does that have to do with Raila?
My dear,
politics.
my dear, that is a lame excuse.
The
court ruled. What has it got to do with Raila?
Yes.
The court has ruled, but the politics is ruling now. It is not the court, Miriam. The court has ruled.
So the court.
But I'm now, for me, I am not arguing about the argument of the court. I am arguing about the way we have handled the Sonko case. We have not been, Miriam, we have not been firm. Not all of us like Sonko. You know very well I don't like Sonko. And I want to make it very clear. But I'm now telling you what is here. People are saying, now, they remove him, he comes back, then he's taken there, then he comes back, then a decision, then one day he's seen with the president, the evening, then the following morning. That is the confusion I'm talking about.
It is confusing, yes. True, I agree.
Yes, not because I disagree with what the court has said. The court might be right, it's a decision to make, but for us, at this hour, when we have arrived in the house with the pot that we have been carrying on our heads, we can't afford to break the pot. It is like a lie going to beat Sifuna at a rally. That's stupid. That is very stupid. And we cannot keep quiet. What type of behavior are you showing? What type of behavior are you showing? What behavior is that? You can't fight in public. We are fighting Ruto. And we are telling Ruto that Ruto is very violent. Then at the same time, we go and fight the Secretary General. Because he comes from
Could you mute your device?
The what?
No, almost his device was on and there was a bit of some background noise.
Because the Secretary General, Sifuna, is a lawyer. Our lawyer vote is in chaos in Bungoma. And then you go and give him blows and break his jaws. Now, what type of life are they? Where did these people? What is this? What type of violence is this? No. We can't bring, this guy needs another guy who can stand on him. I am not going to keep quiet. Let him try me. Me, I will go for him if he tries me. Where? Yeah, we don't want that type of violence. Medium, full stop. Whether it is a Luo, whether it's a Kalenjin, whether it's a Luya, whether it's who, that type of violence is what Kenya does not want. Full stop. And Raila should have come out, disciplined ally yesterday, have lost so many votes. When you beat up people at the headquarters of ODM, we lose votes. Yes. We are in partnership. This partnership, we are friends. Some of us are sacrificing our nights to come and collect data in order for Raila Amolo Odinga to win, to avoid a thief, a semi-God who calls himself God, who prays and thinks others don't pray. When he was born in 1966, when I was 11 years old, he thinks I can't also pray. Don't I pray? Muniambie nyenye wa Kenya, kwenda. Wacha tuambiane kweli. Another thief is praying with the wife. The wife of Ruto is a director, managing director of all Ruto's companies that steal money from Kenya. Mnaniambia baba, I am a wife, I am a warrior. Warrior what? Kuiba pesa za umma wa watu. Nasema warrior, my fault. Enda. Mulete, data, bring it on. Bring it on now. I'm ready for you. Bring it. You think some of us have reached where we are to be refugees because there are conflicts in our houses. Not because the sunshine does not shine there. Thank you. I mark my words. We have reached to be refugees because there are conflicts, not because the sun does not shine there. Today, let me speak my mind, and I refuse to give me food.
Thank you. Miriam, with your permission, I would like
you come and switch off my TV. I will make it bigger somewhere else. I'm fed up. How do you go to beat people? We are convincing people. We are convincing the Kikuyus to vote for you. Then you come and beat people. They fear violence. They fear violence. Yes. If the elders are not talking about this, let's talk. Let's be honest. I'm not going to ask Raila for food. No way! No way! Well, I will not. I will go home. But some of us have become refugees here because of the violence, because of the torture, the humiliation, the integration of people, the humanization of human beings by a regime. Then you come and beat people in political rallies. What the hell? Huh? What? Let's not show violence. Media, we are condemning. I am on this Facebook from 4 a.m. condemning Ruto for violence. Then all of a sudden, it occurs in our own place. Now this one, you watch this. Have you seen the clips that are playing around? I give away for some other people who have heard the clips. You see the way they are now saying, you see, we are killing votes. We are subtracting votes. If there are problems in the political parties, solve them at home. Go in your boardroom. Go in your boardroom and solve these problems in your boardroom. His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga should stand up and summon a lie and tell him openly, this is not, let it be the last. Otherwise, out. All of us go to Kilelesho and decampaign him and remain with nothing. Haki ya Mungu. Musicheze. Uko Kilelesho, we can do it. Whoa. Don't play. We can do it. I'm telling you. We don't want that. Don't beat up. You can't beat up a person because of his tribe. Thank you. Miriam, let somebody else
yeah,
talk about it.
Doc,
Thank you, Miriam.
No, hold on, Omuse. Just hold on. I'll come to you. Just hold on. There's some follow-up question to Doc, but I think, Doc, when you're able to talk, I still have a question, because I'd really want to understand, I think a lot of Kenyans would like to understand, before I move on to the next person.
Yeah, go ahead.
We apologize for that. All right, so once Doc is settled there, then I'll get back to him. But perhaps I pose that question to...
Miriam, I'm settled.
Okay, so Sonko was impeached in Nairobi, and then he went to join the Mombasa race, and he campaigned for a very short period of time before, the law came in and the case was taken to the court, and his candidature has been problematic since then. But he campaigned for a very short period of time. And now, from the information you're giving, is that some people are saying if Sonko is not allowed to run, then they will not come out to vote on the 9th of August. That means that even the presidential candidate for Azimio might lose out on these Kenyans who will decide not to go vote because Sonko is not on the ballot. So what is it about Sonko, maybe from these people, Doc, if you have found out, that resonates with them, despite all these other, things we've seen play out on Sonko as far as his leadership and his and as far as he aligns with Chapter 6 of Kenya's Constitution on leadership and integrity? What is it about him that people really love and get attracted to, despite of what we've seen play out? Doc.
Miriam,
yes.
Thank you very much. You have asked a cardinal question. I was distracted a bit by events here because it is raining heavily. We are trying to get our cameras. We had to put some cameras outside so that we can transmit to you directly. So we are running with the cameras inside. Now, you talked about Sonko being in integrity and so on and so forth.
But people still want him.
Yes, because the politics of Africa is ethnicity, tribal. 3/4 of the people in Mombasa are Sonko's tribe. Wacha tuambiane ukweli. I am telling you, you will see the type of vote that will come up. They have not said they hate Raila Odinga, no. But there is a competition which is local. A local competition of zoning. People did not zone. Mombasa was not zoned. Mombasa was left for free fall for everybody. So Wiper Party brought a candidate. And unfortunately, the Wiper Party candidate has used whatever technicalities that are in the law, Miriam, to cling himself on the thing. Because if he doesn't succeed now, it means that law will bar him from every public office in the world. You cannot hold a public office again. You see? Kedero in 2017 lost Nairobi because of the Kamba vote in Nairobi. So you can see, if we are not careful, we might destroy both Nairobi and at the same time we destroy Mombasa. That is the essence of life. So you can see the Kamba Fort on the other side and the Kamba Fort on this side.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Just let some other people.
Let me bring Cornelius Omuse now. And so I'm sure, Omuse, you've been watching how this has been playing out. And I think for Sonko right now, it's not just about him being on the ballot this year, but it is about his political future. Because if that is maintained, then as Doc there has said, he will not be able to vie for any position or be in any position to hold a public office according to the Chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution. So he has to survive, and not because he has to be a governor now, but also for his political future. And so by him going to the East African Court of Justice, of course, it is very well within his rights, and that is available because East African Court of Justice, we are part of that, and we subscribe to that. So that will mean that IEBC cannot go ahead and print maybe the ballot papers, the gubernatorial ballot papers for Mombasa until this case is heard. And as we know, we don't even have that much time. So I think for the interest, I don't know, for whatever interest, and for Sonko's political future, would he be advised maybe to stop, and what will that mean for him?
Thank you so much, Miriam. This issue takes us back to the matter of structural challenges of the Kenya's 2010 constitution. You are elected by 800,000 or 900,000 people in Nairobi County. Then in the process, members of county assemblies, whom the total population is about 80, decides probably to have a disagreement with you. And then also you go through those processes, then something comes up called an impeachment. What should come out here is that we have three arms of the government: the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. And therefore, Sonko, I believe, should not give up because of this reason. The impeachment issue in the first place is a very, very delicate balance because of you've been elected, then the people who removes you from that office should either be the judiciary, and the constitution is very clear that maybe you've been jailed towards a particular amount of months or years or something like that, gross violation of the law. But it has to be either through the judiciary or at the end of your term, the people realize that actually you haven't performed to the expectations. Remember some time back, we've had this discussion of an attempt to impeach President Uhuru Kenyatta by those ones who are working with him. Look at this scenario that Kenyans have elected a president. Then after some time, members of parliament happens that they go against him and then they decide to do an impeachment process. And powers that be, remember we've had the judiciary that most of its members have actually turned rogue, siding with external and internal forces, probably to sabotage the judiciary and the executive, or to come up with laws that are actually retrogressive. So with Sonko, I actually feel that he's on the right course. Let him proceed to the East African Court of Justice. And at the same time, remember, Miriam, at this time, there is this judicial review. He has actually applied for it. That the Supreme Court goes to sit down and look at whether they actually made an error when they were making a decision, and then in the process now probably revisit or actually overturn whatever the decision that they've made. So on this issue, according to the law, IBC should proceed to print the ballot papers for Mombasa County, because remember already the High Court has got that judgment where it gave that permission, and then the Supreme Court, which is the apex, gave its pronouncement, but at the same time he has filed that. We have the East African Court of Justice, which actually takes care of all countries within the East African community. So let also the case be there. You remember Karua went up to that level and actually she was given some sort of relief. So let Sonko proceed, and as it gets there, it takes us back that after this election, let us do a stock taking, a review of the 10 years. How has everything been? And then to that point, see where do we make a change.
Okay.
BBI came and then it went. But therefore, I believe there can be another discussion over the same, Miriam.
Very well. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. Kiptanui Savania. Good afternoon.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, Miriam.
Should Sonko just account his losses and move on?
Miriam, can you be able to, are you getting me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. I've been following up what Daktari and my brother Cornelius have said, and I want to join hands, Miriam. Miriam, you remember in 2016, the Okie community of this country, they went to the African court, the East African court here in Arusha. And they actually, they won the case. Recently you saw it in newspapers that they were even awarded to almost 250 million. So Miriam, I want to encourage my brother Sonko to continue fighting, because MCA, Miriam, can you imagine a situation like in Nakuru where we have almost 1 million?
All right, we've suffered a bit of a technical hitch there from Kiptanui Savania. From he said he's in close to Njora, I believe. That's what he said. But right now, I'd like to go to Gladwell Kiragu. Gladwell, good afternoon. And what are your thoughts on this new development on Sonko's case?
Miriam, I'll start by saying, in this life we are living in, can you fight till your last breath? And that's my urge to Sonko. Can he keep on fighting? Yesterday, Miriam, somebody like Dhongwa, and he was just actually cleared. They have no difference with the Sonko and the rest. And so if the rest were cleared, why can't also Sonko be given a go-ahead actually to vie for the position he wants? At the same time, I join hands with Dr. Matsanga because, Sonko, him vying, he's vying via the Wiper Party. That is also part of the Azimio. So that means part of the when he's not allowed, some of the votes which actually belongs to Azimio and which actually Sonko could be given will actually go will actually be lost. And as Doc has said, most people won't vote. That's true, Miriam. So let him be cleared. Let him be cleared. If the rest were cleared, even those who hold, they have so many scandals. Why is Sonko not getting cleared? Can he be cleared? That's what I'm saying. Can he fight till the last breath? Can he fight for what he knows that he will get? Because at the end of it all, Miriam, if he manages to get to the to vie, definitely Sonko takes the seat. Yesterday, actually, there's the UDA team was in Githurai. Something actually was not even a chance. Can he vie? And definitely when he's given that chance, Miriam, Sonko will actually take it very early in the morning until it'll be a win for the Azimio team.
Okay, thank you so much. Kiptanui, sorry you were cut off earlier, but I see you're back now, and I'd like for you to finish your thought before I move on to Wesonga. Kiptanui?
Miriam,
Yes.
I'm sorry for that technical itch. There is something very important I was trying to address here. Where I was last time, a place called Naswet, I gathered also a lot of information. You see, on this case of our brother Sonko, I was giving you a classical example of 2016, when the government of Kenya did not, when the Okie community did not get their justice here, they went there to that court, and they were given compensations. Even our government was even told that they violated their human rights. So I want to encourage my brother Sonko to still fight on. I was also giving you an example, Miriam, that here in Nakuru we have almost 1 million, almost 1 million voters, and we have those of Kamba origin, the way Dr. Matsanga have said. Now we are going to lose these people who are looking Sonko as an example from the other end, from Mombasa. So it's my appeal and it's my prayer that we give him an opportunity so that he continues, because it will give us when this young man will be part from actually vying for this. It will have set now a standard that you are impeached by MCAs. You see, these governors, Miriam, wako na shida mingi sana because if you differ with an MCA, they just impeach you and that is the end of your political life. So it is not good actually. I submit.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And of course, Sonko is in Wiper Party, which is one of the key affiliate parties in Kenya, in Azimio One Kenya Alliance. And we saw Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka personally get into this Sonko case and supporting this Sonko case, and knowing very well that that could have posed, I think, a legal problem, him, Wiper giving Sonko that ticket to run as the governor in Mombasa. So are we cutting Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka some slack here, or this chaos that we are seeing right now, was it a setup, knowing very well he was not very happy after he was not picked as the running mate for Azimio? So what do you think is going through, Kalonzo's mind right now? Daniel Wesonga, why are we not talking about him?
Thank you so much. And of course, Miriam, like Dr. Matsanga has said, and my good brother Musek Kitanui and Gladwell Kirago, is that in Mombasa, it's a contest between Azimio La Umoja candidates. And the leading candidates are Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir, who is the son of the former MP from Vita, if I'm not wrong, and former Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. So either way, this seat was to go to Azimio La Umoja. However, there's a caveat on that, and Dr. Matsanga has actually brought it rightly, that we have a group of individuals who are saying that if Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko is not going to be on the ballot, then they will not go to cast their votes come the 9th of August. That's quite a formidable threat to the candidature of Azimio La Umoja ticket. It is something that we should not take lightly when it comes to matters voter turnout in the coastal county of Mombasa. And let me tell you, it might not only happen in Mombasa County, it could also affect the county of Nairobi. Remember, Mike Mbuvi Sonko was a governor in Nairobi for almost 4 years, and he has a very massive, a support background here in the capital of Nairobi. So therefore, if you investigate Miriam, who are people who are actually frustrating Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko, it is the other side of the political divide. The Kenya Kwanza Brigade is the one which is using the judiciary to be able to frustrate Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko to the disadvantage of his candidature and give advantage to their cabal. You see people like Karungo Wathangwa have been allowed to vie. You see people like Sakaja, whose papers are actually a matter of court context, are still being given the green light by IEBC to run. Sakaja's name was gazetted even before the court gave a green light that the petition barring his candidature should be dismissed. So therefore, that tells you there is a very well-planned script to be able to deny the Right Honorable Raila Odinga the required voter turnout that will be able to see him actually garner a majority of votes in the coastal county of Mombasa. Remember, Miriam, that Mombasa County is a stronghold of Azimio, and therefore, any monkey games that are being played either by IEBC or the courts, it all melts down to reducing the number of votes that Raila Odinga would have garnered in the county. And let me tell you, if a majority of people would have come out to vote massively for Sonko and Abdul Swamad, as Azimio, we do not go to any loss, because at the end of the day, Sonko is in Wiper, which supports Azimio. Abdul Swamad is in ODM, which supports Azimio. And the beneficiary of these high voter turnouts between these two top contenders would have been the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And therefore, to me, in this discussion, Kalonzo Musyoka does not quite feature anywhere, but it is a setback to the entire Azimio brigade, not just Kalonzo Musyoka alone, because Kalonzo Musyoka can only do as much as the rest of us can do, because he's not on the ballot, but he is supporting the the flag bearer, Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And if this issue has to be looked into quite from a sober perspective, it is not a Wiper issue, it is not a Kalonzo Musyoka issue. It is all about the Azimio la Umoja presidential ticket. And therefore, if they're disadvantaging Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko while advantaging other aspirants like Karungo Athangwa and Johnson Sakaja, then I see no sense, Miriam, of why Azimio la Umoja should sit back pretty well and be able to allow this kind of impunity to happen to their candidates. So if Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko is being bad, then let the rest of the candidates who have failed the threshold of chapter 6 of the Constitution also be bad. If he's being allowed to vie, if the rest are being also allowed to vie, then let Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko also be allowed to vie in equal measure. And they say, Miriam, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. And therefore, I see some monkey tricks here. I see people playing out of not so good, intention in regards to the voter turnouts, and they will mess the voter turnout in Mombasa and in Nairobi if you are not careful. So therefore, it is not an issue of Kalonzo Musyoka or Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. Azimio Brigade in its entirety has to come out clearly and demand that Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko is added on the list, whether he's going to win the election or he's going to lose it to Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir. It is all an in-house game. And therefore, the bigger picture here is, let us make sure that IEBC and the courts unilaterally and without favor or bias apply these electoral laws and the Constitution, in regards to clearing of candidates, not showing favor to some candidates while disadvantaging others. Right. I submit, Miriam.
All right, thank you so much. And speaking of which, we know that the Anti-Corruption Commission has singled out about 241 aspirants who, after their own perusal, found that were not fit to run for elections, and so had advised the IEBC not to go ahead and accept their nominations. But the IEBC said it is within its discretion to decide who qualifies or not, and so there are a section of the civil society and also the anti-corruption watchdog who took this case to the court, and the High Court made its pronouncement sometimes back last month, I think the 24th, and the High Court declined a request by the anti-corruption watchdog and activists to have the 241 aspirants facing integrity probes barred from contesting the forthcoming general election. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the activists and the Director of Public Prosecutions united against the electoral agency, which was cast as the weak link in efforts to ban tainted individuals from the ballot. So the IEBC, I don't know if it has a share of this blame, Javan, because we saw how it cherry-picked. And all these people who are found not fit to run for office, Chebukati said no, but for Sonko, they refused to clear him and they were citing the impeachment there. So is it because IEBC perhaps did not do its job thoroughly, and that's why we find ourselves where we are today? Or this law, how is it being interpreted even in our courts? Javan.
Thank you very much, Miriam. And I would make myself very clear on this issue of Mike Sonko and the problem that he's facing now. And I think the IBC, if the court have pronounced that they have no capacity to stop anyone from running for political office, then I think it is wise to allow Mike Sonko to be on the ballot. Because in this election, Miriam, we have many and hundreds of corrupt individuals who are running for the office. Unless we make Chapter 6 of our Constitution a practical piece of article that can be put in use, that is the only time we can talk of maybe someone being denied a chance to run for political office. But as it stands now, Miriam, we are not serious on the issue of Chapter 6 of the Constitution about integrity and leadership. That is why we have the likes of Mike Sonko, the likes of Karungo Athangwa, and the other known corrupt individuals busy on the ground campaigning for elective position in the coming polls. But on the issue of Mombasa gubernatorial race, I think the Azimio team, they could have looked for alternative means, maybe to settle and maybe to create a consensus between the candidates. If they can pursue that route, it might be better. But as it stands now, Miriam, Mike Sonko comes out as the strongest candidate compared to Ahmed Nasir. And I have said this earlier, the issue of nominations, Miriam, have really affected the political happenings in this general election. If ODM party went through a proper party nomination where the Wananchi were given a chance to nominate their candidate, Miriam, I'm sure, if I'm not wrong, maybe Suleiman Shabal could be the ODM flag bearer in Mombasa. And that is why we are having all these problems. ODM being a dominant party in Mombasa, facing that kind of resistance, shows that there's something that was not done in the right way. I think at the same time our politicians allowed the people to be the stakeholders in the party nominations, because someone like Sharif Nasir, who have lost touch with the Wanjiku, because the feeling and what I'm getting from the Wananchi in Mombasa, they are looking for a leader who can end the dominance of the Swahili people, especially those people who come from the other side of coast, who come from these sides of the other side. They are saying that Sonko to them is more of a savior, is more of a person. Whether he is corrupt or not, he will end a regime of certain crook of leaders. And that is why they are backing on him as the best alternative, not because that he is not corrupt or he is corrupt, but for them, it's about the change that they need at the moment. And that's why Sonko has an upper hand. And I think if Sonko will be denied a chance, this will have a ripple effect on the number of votes that the Azimio team will get in Mombasa. There are people who support Sonko dearly from their heart, and if they're not, Sonko will not be on the ballot. They might not go to vote because there will be no enough reason for them to go and cast their votes if Mike Sonko is not on the ballot. I think this is an issue that needs to be addressed critically, and I think if justice is served the right way, Miriam, Mike Sonko should be cleared to run for this office. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Back to you, Doc, in case there's anything else you want to add, and then we can get on to our topic of today. Not sure if...
First of all, thank you very much. To be very honest and candid, because today I'm very brutal and very upset, I want to state one categorical fact. We started this whole exercise of elections in a bad way. That's point number one. We said, whoever is got a crime, anything, let them go. You get the point where the rain started beating us. Originally, that was what was said. All MPs, Juma, Aisha Juma, whoever, everybody, let them go. They have crimes, but let them go. That's what the people say. All these MPs, everybody picked up forms and they went. And they went. Everybody started campaigning. Now we have a problem at our hands. In the middle of the river, Zambezi, crocodiles are about to eat us. We look forward, there's a crocodile. Behind, there's a crocodile. Kiputanui, don't go near Earth River because everything is bad. Now we are saying, what happens? No, give me a list of 241 cleared people. I agree with Karanja, and I agree with you, Esonga, and all of you. Miriam, I agree with most of the panelists today. We killed ourselves. we killed chapter 6. Then why is chapter 6 in our constitution? In the Constitution of Republic of Kenya, why is it there? What does it do? It's supposed to stop people like Sonko. But it is supposed to stop people like Rigathi Gachagua. It's supposed to stop anybody who smells corruption or who is a full-time corruption, a gazetted person. Every corruption, every deal you hear of 200 million, 300 million, 1 billion, some names are there. Why is it that there is no Matsanga's name there? Miriam, why is it that there is no Miriam or Gutu name? Let's think, because we don't do those bad things. But there are bad people doing bad things in this country who should not go into an election. What are you teaching the children, the younger generation of Kenya? That even if you commit a crime, you will still go and stand and go and be elected as a member of parliament and get a gasola, a V8, and have 10 houses of concubines, all the way from Malava up to Mombasa. There is a house for each concubine. Leo wacha tuzungumze ya haki. Concubine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah? That you are in a meeting in Mombasa, yet you are in a meeting in Malava. Look at that. That is what is happening in this country. So what was the use of? What was the use of chapter 6? Now, if you have brought chapter 6, you can't segregate the speaker, the Senate aspirant of Kiambu. If you have kicked out Mr. Sonko, then kick out everybody. Why are you leaving? Why is the IEBC focused on Sonko? Because they want to spoil Raila's vote. Yes, they want to spoil, they want to kill Raila's vote. You people don't know. But one day you will remember my words. Miriam, they want to destroy Raila's vote. They want to destroy Raila's vote in Nairobi by the Kamba people. The way they did it with Kalonzo on Kalonzo. You know, they pulled the Kalonzo, they pulled the Kalonzo, they pulled the Kalonzo, they pulled the Kalonzo until we won. Our side won Kalonzo. Ruto even offered billions. But Kalonzo had conscience and stuck with Raila Amolo Odinga. Ruto pulled the Mudavadi. Mudavadi is regulating, hiding in the kitchen, not even in the main house. As we speak right now, Mudavadi is hiding in the toilet. Where Songa, why are you not speaking out? Things are so bad for Mudavadi. Kiragu, my sister Kiragu, things are dangerous for Mudavadi. He's in a toilet. He can't see people in Vihiga. People have gone to tell him that you let us down. You book us to a man who is... Ruto went to Vihiga. He couldn't see Mudavadi in the conference. Didn't you see that, Cornelius almost? Yeah, sorry, unmute.
Nobody sees it. He never attended, and even here in Bungoma, people are asking, where is he?
He's in the toilet. He's hidden in the toilet. In fact, he's digging another hole, like the Mexican man who was the drug dealer.
Pablo.
Fabro. He's running away from the mafia. You know Ruto is mafia. Did you know that? He's a mafia. If you take his money, you must deliver. Otherwise, you have a problem. So they took the money, but there are no votes. That's why I was very upset with Alai coming to beat the Secretary General, Eluya, who comes from Bungoma, where the vote, we are trying to get that Bungoma vote. Next week, you know, all of us are in Bungoma this week to make sure that we see what is available there. So, Miriam, if you have kicked out Sonko, kick out everybody. Yes. Otherwise, why are you pinning Sonko only? You remember, you have even men with fake degrees. Mr. Sakaja, the court in my country, Uganda, has now ruled that there is a problem with the university. The guy never went there. So the university in Kampala, by Monday, Tuesday, the chancellor and his men are going to be arrested. You know, with Museveni, he doesn't joke. The CID are already looking for them. Some have fled Kampala. Yes, because you cannot be the engine of education in Africa, Makerere University. Then you are mentioned that you are the one delivering fake degrees. Miriam, Makerere University, when you grow up, I think Dad said you better go there. Go and study in Nairobi University, Makerere University.
It is.
When you were growing up, all of us wanted to go there.
It is the University of Nairobi.
Of Nairobi.
Yes.
And the Makerere University.
Yes.
My God, when Dad tells you to study, I want you to go to Makerere. Now Makerere, how can you, our country issue fake degrees?
So what will that happen, Doc? I did not know about that new development. So the Ministry of Education has said what? The institution is under...
The Ministry of Education, and the Ministry of Education is the First Lady of the Republic of Uganda.
Yes. So she's just
and
doing
she's
her
a
job.
Christian,
yes,
whom Angel Gabriel, amongst Ugandans, always visits every night.
So she's straightforward. So,
yes.
So the Ministry of Education is investigating Team University over these
she
allegations.
She has won a case to investigate them.
So should they find that this degree is fake? Because I think at this point a lot of Kenyans believe this degree is fake. So what will happen to Sakaja now that he's already on the ballot paper?
Interpol.
Here? So that means we might go for another by-election here in
Nairobi. Exactly. That's the confusion I've been telling you about Kenya elections. Don't forget, I'm not a friend of these elections. I'm sorry. And in fact, I'm trying, on the day of voting, I'm only mopping up a vote for my brother, Raila Amolo Odinga. After that, I'm going to relax in Mauritius, put my legs up and enjoy the sunshine. Because I know I will come back, the election will be nullified. The petition is already done. Look, Miriam, I'm telling you the truth. There is a lot of grounds for nullifying Chebukati's election. I'm telling you. So it's unfortunate. Kenyans must hear the truth. That whichever way, whether you get 22 million voters in your box, this thing will be nullified. Yes? There is already, it is smelling, it smells. Have you seen the Judge Mwiru? The way she speaks when she's making a ruling, she's very slow in her English, asking questions. By the way, I want to find out where you put the ballot paper that was spoiled. You are finished. Has Chebukati got a box for spoiled ballot papers, Miriam? Has Chebukati got them this year? Are we not going into the same mess? How will you separate the spoiled paper so that it doesn't go in the real papers? How? Don't you see the nullification came from there? An election is not a one-day event. It is a process. And if the process of awarding a tender to an electronic company, IT company, that is well known to be a mafia company, you have already killed the elections of Kenya. Somebody will use that and they say we didn't do public participation. We are not aware. There was no publication in the 2 weeks in national 2 newspapers. There is no advert saying that the tender has been offered to Lycos of Greece. We are done. Therefore, I submit in my humbleness, help us, God. That's all I can say. Help us, God. There's nothing, but my hopes and my determination and my courage. I've never been on a side that loses. On a few occasions, I've lost. But on this one, I'm on Raila Amolo Odinga. His vote will come. He will win. But we have an obstacle ahead. The obstacle is IEBC. And it will make us cry louder. Forget about the thing of Ruto saying that he has a vision from God that he has won. Then why doesn't he sit down and wait? This Jambazi man, why doesn't he sit down? Why doesn't he also tell us the vision of Meshach Yabei? Why? We lost people. Tell us more. If you have a vision from God that you will win, tell us also how you had a vision to break people's necks. Thank you very much, Miriam. Let's move on to the legacy trend, the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I want to announce that from tomorrow at 11 o'clock East African time, our correspondents will be dotted across the continent and the country called Kenya, from Kitale, Kakamega, Bungoma, Eldoret, and Nyeri, Nanyuki, Nakuru, Naivasha, and Meru. Then we shall have another team from Kiambu, and we shall be dealing with those issues. Kiambu headed by Gladwell Kiragu, who will tell us where she will be positioned from tomorrow. I want to thank you very much on that one, on the local newspapers. Let's move on to the national legacy, regional legacy, global African legacy, global legacy for President Uhuru Kenyatta. He continues to play a pivotal role in making sure that peace comes in the region. Thank you very much. Miriam, back to you in the headquarters. If there is any other agenda which I have not mentioned, continue working on it. There we are.
All right. Thank you so much. I think we'll just move on to our topic of the day, and then we will catch up with the local politics tomorrow, God willing, at 9 a.m. So we look at President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy, as Doc has said there. And I think I'll start with Cornelius Omuse. There's some information he was giving us from Bungoma about that new airstrip that is set to be built. So Omuse, you can start it off for us and tell us more. Omuse, can you hear me?
I get you very well, Miriam. Sorry there's been called Hish, but I can get you very clearly here in Bungoma, Kandui constituency.
All right. So earlier on, you were telling us about the airstrip that is set to be built there. I don't know if you can expound more on that, and what else can you tell us about President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy from Bungoma?
So looking into the western region, here people rely on Eldoret, that is a Moi International Airport, and Kisumu International Airport. So when you come to these regions of Kakamega, Busia, coming to all the way to Bungoma, moving all those sides of Malaba, there have never been an airstrip before. But looking at the government plan, this one that is just next to me here has been planned for renovation. That is a Bungoma airstrip and another one in Busia. And once completed under President Uhuru Kenyatta's plan, then it will enable people traveling from this place headed to Nairobi, others headed to Lodwar, others even headed as far as Kuri and Migori to have an airstrip. So in terms of infrastructure, western part of Kenya has hugely benefited from the regime for the past 10 years, apart from a few that also have been actually marked for more innovation and new constructions. We have a number of them, and as just doctors put it, from tomorrow I'll be moving to this Bungoma Malaba Highway, this one from Webuye to Kakamega, and also the renovation of Nzoia Sugar Company that the government has pumped billions of shillings. And the report that I received on Friday when I toured the place is that the engine has actually begun to be repaired so that farmers can now be supplying their sugar and actually get revenue from such projects. So there is a lot that the President Uhuru Kenyatta has actually done here for the past 10 years. And from the new week now, I'll be showcasing them in terms of photography and even some of the videos and the feedback from citizens from this side.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, and we shall be looking forward to getting to know more about what else is happening there. I don't know, how far is Bungoma from Eldoret? Because you mentioned initially the people, even right now, the people from Bungoma, if they have to take a flight, then they have to come through the Eldoret, airstrip. So how far is it?
Bungoma to Eldoret is roughly 200 kilometers.
That's a long...
200 kilometers away.
All right, that's a long period of time after you've flown in and you have to board a vehicle to your destination. So I think this new airstrip will be quite a reprieve to Kenyans who live from that part of the country. Thank you so much for that, Cornelius. And then we'll go to Kiptanui, Savania. If you can hear me, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you, Miriam. Thank you so much for having me this afternoon. Early in the morning, Miriam, I was in Kelly on the other end, and I actually realized and I shared some photographs with Steve up there. There is a road which is connecting two counties now. It was a forest. So the government of President Uhuru Kenyatta has decided to put a road that is connecting Kindre, Kipkelion. Remember, Kipkelion is in Kericho County. It is connecting Kipkelion and Nandi County in Kindre Forest, the other end, to Loti. Loti is on your way to Eldoret. So it is not only connecting the two counties, Nandi and Kericho, but it also connected to part of it touches Wasingishu, part of it touches the Koipatek. Koipatek is in Baringo County. So there are a lot of things that has happened, Miriam, actually. So another thing, Miriam, as my brother Mosa said, from on your way to Bungoma, just adjacent, before 9K, there is a very big bypass around there. So you see, there are a lot of things that Uhuru Kenyatta has done during this time from 2013 up in I stated the other time that we are the construction of a very big airport up in Nakuru. So this connection, Miriam, will ease the farmers from actually exporting their farm produce. It will ease a lot of transportation. And we actually, Uhuru Kenyatta, Miriam, has done a lot of things in infrastructure, roads, and other things. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. And then we go to Gladwell. Kiraga, what can you tell us today about President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy? And remember, we are looking at his legacy nationally, regionally, as well as across the continent of Africa and internationally.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And yeah, so much you can speak under Uhuru's legacy. First, let me start with where I am, that is in Githurai. I think last year, or thereabout, there was the construction of a new market, which actually yet Uhuru Kenyatta is yet to open. So it was completed, but is not yet to open. And this is a market whereby we are hoping that it will be opened. If you know, Githurai is so much congested. And for instance, yesterday, let me give an example. When the hustler guy was in Githurai, so many women actually, after he left, they cried lots of things because there was so much congestion. I actually pitied an old woman who, by the roadside, had just actually packed her, had actually arranged her nyanyas for sale, and all of them were destroyed. Watu walikanyaga. So you can imagine the loss that woman went, and maybe she not sold anything. So if Uhuru Kenyatta can actually remember that there's a market is yet to actually open, I think it will do so good for the people of Githurai and others who are actually business people in Githurai. We also have another market in Ruiru, which was actually opened by Nyoro, the governor, and it's actually serving the people of Ruiru very well because, you know, with the markets, Miriam, and also with the weather, when it's rain and you're inside the premises, then it's an advantage. And like when you're actually by the roadside, then we have something like the Karimeno Dam, which was to be ready by March. I don't know what happened. But the CS, the cabinet secretary of water and irrigation, Cecily Karaoke, said that 80% of the complete or is completely done. And so we are actually waiting for the Karimeno Dam for it to be for it to be opened too, because it will actually be a big project. Actually, a big project will serve the people of will serve the people of Gatondo North Sub County and other regions. Miriam, there's so much you can speak about Uhuru's legacy, the roads, the infrastructure, the people of Juja are enjoying. When, as I showed you the other time, the Gatondo Juja Farm Road, that's a key project which the people of Juja are actually proud of, because back then it was chaotic getting to the market, chaotic getting sick people to the hospital. We got the hospitals, which actually under Uhuru's legacy, we've seen him open, and actually it's a big it's a big achievement. So Miriam, there's so much you can say about our President Uhuru. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. We go to Daniel Wesonga.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, from where I am in Nairobi, we've seen quite a robust. Sorry about that. From Nairobi, we've seen quite a robust, mushrooming of hospitals in the slum areas, courtesy of NMS, which is part of the legacy, what I could call some of the legacy miracles, because this is something that was constituted by President Uhuru Kenyatta to be able to take up the leadership of Nairobi County and ensure that essential services were delivered to the Kenyans in quite an efficient manner through the power deal that was struck between the county government of Nairobi and the national government. So we've seen a lot of hospitals being done by NMS. We've seen boreholes, more specifically in slum areas, being sunk. We've seen even in some areas, roads being recarpeted. And I was just passing by the suburbs, in some suburbs of Eastlands the other day, and I saw that roads that previously had been neglected and, they were full of potholes are now recarpeted, and the residents there are having easier time actually accessing our town and being able even to get to their homes without much buzz and bustle, And that really tells you, if a country has good roads, then it means the movement of people, the movement of goods and services will be quite efficient. And that movement actually makes economic sense, in that motorists are not able, are not maybe in a disadvantage of spending so much money on fuel. They are not spending so much money on repairs, and therefore, consequently, it reduces the amount of money, that out of their income that they will have spent on such expenses and extravagance. And therefore, also for those of you who are using the public service vehicles, they'll actually have the advantage of enjoying, very small amounts in terms of fare and transport, wherever they're going to town or maybe just moving around. Another thing, Miriam, I think it's the talk of town, and not just the talk of town, but the talk of the continent. That is the Nairobi Expressway. And every day we see the way this magic in the Nairobi CBD has actually been able to clear out the perennial traffic on Waiyaki Way, Uhuru Highway, and all the way to Mombasa Road. Nowadays, most people are going to the airport. There are no instances where someone has missed a flight simply because they were stuck on traffic on Waiyaki Way or maybe Mombasa Road. You only take 10 minutes and you actually in Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. And maybe having maybe had discussions with the people who have used the expressway, including myself, you realize, Miriam, it gives you the right face of Nairobi. It gives you the image that you really, really want to see of Nairobi, which is a city of cool waters, you know. Once you get yourself, you know, as a tourist coming to Kenya, you get, you land at JKIA, you take an Uber. It takes you 10 minutes for you to move from JKIA all the way to Westlands, where we have some very affordable hotels where our visitors, you know, who are visiting Nairobi for the first time can be able to stay as they plan maybe their things as they move across the country to visit our national parks and all that. There is no hassle where, like before, where someone will spend even 2 hours in traffic jam, where they will be able to encounter hawkers. They'll be able even sometimes be mugged and all that. All that has been left at the road below. And therefore, that is why we even have police officers on the road below, so that we are able now as Kenyans to manage our own, you know, our own affairs and be able to actually utilize this other road if you do not have the hurry. But if you have the hurry, then you can also pay a toll and be able to use the expressway. So that is something that revolutionizes the way we move around as a country, and it actually saves the entire country on the amount of time you spend on traffic. And let me tell you, Miriam, if you spend even 2 hours on traffic, that time has its own monetary value. It has an economic essence, you know. If you are an employee, it means you're denying your employer some hours of your valuable services. If you are to go strike a deal and you're late, it means you run the risk of even you know, missing out on the deal. If you are a public service operator, then it means you are losing a lot of money in terms of high fuel consumption. So, Miriam, all in all, we've seen a lot of good things happening here in Nairobi. We've seen dams being sunk even in neighboring counties of Kiambu, Kirinyaga, and Murang'a, which have been able to upstep the water that we use here in the capital. You know, apart from the few we had in the previous regime, we've been able to add like 3 or 4 more dams under the administration of President Uhuru Kenyatta. When you go to Kajiado County, there's a road from Ngong town all the way to Suswa. That road has been tarmacked under the leadership of President Uhuru Kenyatta. We still have other roads, even in Machakos County, and other roads within Kajiado County still, which has been done. And these roads actually open access to the capital city, and in essence, actually enable the city dwellers to be able to migrate from staying within the noise and the buzz of the city to some of the quietest places in the outskirts of Nairobi. I'll tell you for a fact that today, someone can live in Ngong Town or even in Kitengela or in Limuru and be able to come to Nairobi and report at work without being late, simply because the roads that have been constructed under the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta, like the Nakuru Mau Summit Road, which allows you to drive for, let's say, like 30 minutes or 25 minutes all the way from Lari or Limuru to Nairobi, the CBD, without having a lot of traffic on the way. Today, if you live in Kitengela or maybe in Athi River, you could drive on the expressway and it will take you 20 to 15 minutes from where you live to Westlands and report to office without being late. If you live in Ngong, we have the Ngong Road, which has been dualed under this administration, and it has eased up a lot of traffic snarl up that used to be on this road. You can say that some of these roads were for the Mwai Kibaki government, but also, Miriam, if there was no goodwill from President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration, in their part to complete and be able to follow the blueprint of the 2030 vision under the legacy of President Mike Kibaki. Today, we will not be having even the SGR. Today, we will not be having some of the mega projects we are seeing across the country, including even the roads. We've seen a very good road, being tarmacked from all the way from Kisumu at Ahero Junction all the way to Migori. That is something that has been done by the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. For so many years, Miriam, the road from Kisumu to Busia used to have a lot of potholes. We used to have a lot of accidents along Kisumu-Maseno stretch. Today, that road has been done, and the potholes are not there. Kenya has done a lot of good work all the way to Busia, and therefore, we've seen a lot of roads being tarmacked. We've seen a lot of dams being sunk, and here in Nairobi, the legacy of the president is actually self-manifest. If you walk into the slum areas, you are able to see a hospital, you are able to see a borehole, you are able to see a school, you are able to see even a social amenity, which is meant to keep the youth in the slum, from being idle, just to give them something to be able to do with their lives. Another thing that has been done and consistently with President Uhuru Kenyatta, Kenyatta's government is the NYS. That is something that had been derailed by the corruption that happened there. But nonetheless, we've seen the NYS camp in Nairobi being run and being effectively into being, and helping the residents of Nairobi at the time of crisis, and even chipping in for the national government in areas where we have deficiency of manpower. So Miriam, all said and done, I think Nairobi, of all counties, Nairobi is the county where the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta speaks for itself. The moment you hit the road and you reach Mau Summit, you actually realize that you're actually getting into the capital city. The moment you actually reach Mlolongo and you land onto the expressway, you soon realize that you're actually heading into the capital city. The same way with Thika Road, the same way for those who are coming from the Kajiado side of the suburbs of Nairobi. So all said and done, Miriam, I think the legacy has been completed quite so well in Nairobi. The projects are elaborate, and we shall keep on bringing more details, finer details to the projects that have been done across this country. I submit.
All right. Thank you so much. So, Doc, Hal, you'll just end for us the conversation as you look at President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy, the country and outside. How will he be remembered?
Are you coming to me?
Yes.
Oh, everybody has talked.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam. First of all, I am one of the few people who has, you and myself, we have been on this platform for years, and we have been telling people about the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. There is no doubt, and Your Excellency, thank you very much. While you are aboard 0001 on the way to Sessions, the President has just left for Sessions for a 3 working day. I've just received a message here. Thank you very much, my brother. Go well and come back well. To see and compare a few results of what has happened in Sessions and in Kenya. First of all, Kenya should be very proud that they have a man like Uhuru Kenyatta, a man with a vision, a man not with fiction, but vision, a man who looks at what is going to be Kenya tomorrow. Mombasa, where we are right now, you have, as I talk, I think the production team back in Nairobi should show us the interchange, which we did last 2 weeks. We did a very good interchange, all of the photos that we took live. And as Cornelius Omuse has said in Bungoma, I live near the border. I'm a Ugandan. It is easier for me to fly to Bungoma than go home. It's just a few meters, miles away. I'm in Marikisi, Wakaka, and I'm in my country, at my place, in my house, or on my mountain, or on a tree. That is very easy for me. So if there is an airport upgraded in Bungoma, that airport will serve Uganda better because you will just drop into Bungoma and you are off. It will cut all the accidents that we see here that take place around the road, hammering this whole entire road up to Malaba, then from Malaba, Tororo, up to Mbale, all from Marikisi, Bungoma, Chebukube, and then you go into Bumbo and Abutiru, all from Rwakaka up to Buburo and then Mbale and Abduda. So I am happy as a Ugandan who lives near the border. That is very good for me. That airport in Bungoma will do very well. And that is why we should give a person the votes. That's why Raila should be given the votes around there that he continues with that airport. But if you give this other group, the sharks, they will eat the money and the airport will not be seen until 2027. That's the truth. Give Raila the vote, the airport will be seen because he will be responsible for making the roads that he tried. It was Raila who made these plans for all these roads today, as we see. So I am very happy and very comfortable. And I just say breaking news that have just come in. The President Uhuru Kenyatta has left for Seychelles for a 3-working holiday, state visit. And he will return on Tuesday or Wednesday morning. He's in Seychelles. As I told you, in Seychelles, there's everything there. What you need is to take yourself, enjoy the tourism. Enjoy the tourism, and Mr. President and his entourage will enjoy the hospitality of the Seychelles people. Thank you very much, Miriam.
All right, thank you so much. Unless there's anything else to talk about, then I believe we've sort of come to the end of the show.
We can't come to the end when we have not tackled we have 90 minutes. Let me use this 90 minutes to tackle the regional basis. There is a summit, an African Heads of State Summit in Zambia, which is taking place right now. And I want to tell you that this world is not my home. You know the person representing the president as a head of government is none other than the Minister of Defense, Eugene Wamalwa. He is the head of the delegation, it is heads of state. Mnangagwa is there, Kagame is there, so many, almost all African heads of state are there in Lusaka, Zambia. I don't know, I sent a clip to Stephen, I don't know why he is not playing it, but it is there. That is on the regional basis. On the basis of the regional and the international and the global, President Uhuru Kenyatta has done very well. He has been able to solicit, to bring investment, to bring people into Kenya, to bring investors into Kenya, to allow people to do whatever they were supposed to do in Kenya. And that is a very good sign that there is more to be done. It's only 22 days left to his departure, if the election is not nullified. We still have time to be here, but after the election, the first election, of course, he can't make any more decisions unless there is a state of emergency. I want to thank you. I want to do my takeaway. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you. Fellow Africans, violence has caused Africa a great deal. Africa has suffered as a result of violence. Most of the countries in Africa have fallen to the trappings of violence, where we have been trapped into the cycle of violence. It is very important, therefore, for Kenya to rise up, and for any individual, whichever side you belong to, whether it is ODM, whether it's Azimio, whether it's Kenya Kwanza, to know that if violence becomes the centerpiece, the epic center of your discussion, then we shall not have a country. Many of us who speak from an experience that our countries went down because we never talked about this violence coming. We ignored the cause to tame our tongues, to tame our languages, to tame our behavior. We did that, and we did not know that it could one day destroy our countries. My country, for example, has been destroyed. We spent half of almost 30 years fighting against each other. And today, when we hammered the peace agreement, the last one, Uganda still remains one of the most peaceful, although the democracy might not be on the degree to compare it with the Kenyan democracy. But it remains peaceful internally. There is no major war that threatens the country Uganda because the violence that was in northern Uganda was cooled down. But when you see today the political parties on both sides opening up Pandora boxes of violence, fighting publicly amongst the children during the TV shows which are not here, it doesn't augur well. I request that the leaders of these parties rein against, calm down on the people, discipline some of the erratic behaviors, some of the people who are erratic, and remove them from the midst of campaigns that can cause problems for our people. We are trying to build a nature, a good Africa, an Africa with no violence. Therefore, we cannot accept to institutionalize violence within the parties. But we want to say, whatever small mistakes have happened, let's push on, let's give democracy a chance, let's give peace a chance, let's give Raila Amolo Odinga a vote that will stabilize this nation. Thank you very much. Vote the way you want, but vote first your governor, vote Raila Amolo Odinga, then vote. Not a thief, not a wizard, not a witch, not a corrupt person, but vote the person you want in your other categories of a senator, but give Raila a chance to model us in a unified country, in your unified country called Kenya. This country is the best example of African countries that have moved one step further than the others. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. David Masanga, right from Mombasa, headquarters of Punchline Africa Television. Good evening. Thank you very much. The rest of you,